And humorously, now I'm making it a habit of responding to your responses to Ian. Um, yeah, quite humorous. Okay. Um, my general theme, like I started thinking about this. If I was to become a parrot, what would I want to be saying? Hmm. Uh, I don't know. One thing I've been trying to hit. It's so hard though, because it's so pure concept. Dichotomy. The great dichotomy. And I'm going to tell you about one and how I fit into it quickly here. Uh, the description to Ian's video that you're responding to is beautiful. We are not bound by what we have been told. And this is the key, is that much of what we live with, live in, live as part of, is conceptual. It's all in our heads. You know, political boundaries, the rules. I mean, sure, these things are written down in places, but it's mutual agreement between peoples. Um, but this starts early. This starts with the family. This is the key. Uh, is the first model: father, mother, child. Father and mother have authority, some sort of shared authority, or a very kind of dictatorial authority if only one is present, or if only one takes the authority, because that has to happen. But the model from a youth is that this is how the world works. Words, 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 you know, just thrown at everything. Explain it all, describe it, and children are hungry for this because everything's so new that they want to know things, and they want the straight facts. In fact, I've met some people that were way messed up because their parents would just make stuff up, right? Their kids were so questioning, and they, like, if they didn't know it, they'd just start talking about it. I was wandering through a zoo and saw a guy. God, I can't even remember what he said. Said something really crazy, like about how an elephant used its trunk or something. Like, uses it to strangle things. That wasn't it. I can't remember what it was, though. He was just like, it was something about their diet. Anyways, so far off. And I felt bad for the kid, but do you interrupt? You're taking away authority from the father if you question him in front of his child. You could get beat up for that, by certain dads. Uh, let's step around behind the penguin aquarium. All right. Anyways, then what happens? We get to college. And actually, it starts before that. In elementary school, during the day, you hand authority over to someone who you don't even really know, a teacher. You have faith they're accredited, all that stuff. And it's repeated there, right? Different scenario, same rules. I have the authority. I make up the rules. You obey them. Why? Because this is how the world works. This is how it's done. It will be mutually beneficial. It'll be easiest if you just buckle under and play along with the game. Give them that authority. Trust in that authority. Move on to college. Then you enter, and or enter the workforce, and you hand that authority again over to a corporation in most cases. Um, Working for the man. Cliche, I know, but it pointed out. All right, humorously, that's one gender biased comment that us guys can probably get away with for a while. Working for the man, right? It's wrong in other ways, but okay. Now, people grow up generally into one of two scenarios. This can be basic instincts. It's, of course, affected by development, environment. But good chunk of people just, they like this system, right? Everything's defined for them. If you want to know what's expected of you, what you should do, there's just one source you need to go to. And just do what they say, right? You don't have to use your head much. It's easy to lay back and just, go through the motions. And there's something very comforting in believing that there's that father figure there, that parental figure that's watching over you, right? Now this breaks down though when the parent fucks you over though, and you have to like be willing to contemplate this. Otherwise you're the one abused that's not leaving the relationship, the situation. And it can be hard because the alternative is, we think of as chaos, but it is the unknown. What happens when you establish authority over yourself, or you go off giving nothing authority, or everything authority in its balance? Um, Which is scary though, because you don't have someone telling you the answers, someone you can turn to, someone you think is protecting you at all times. And this is how it plays in with the government. Certainly you're talking, Zach, more about the whole deal, civilization, which of course is governments, but it's also speech and everything else we create. Okay, so dichotomy. One person laps that up. Authority, yes, please. Um, Tell me what to do. Then there's the other archetype. And it's good to talk about archetypes because they're consciously created rather than stereotypes, which are, subconsciously motivated. The other archetype is the rebel. Um, and we think of these people, maybe they didn't have a stern father figure, right? Or perhaps they went to one of those liberal schools where they could get away with anything, or there was just nobody there to step in and put them in their place, right? Now these are all stereotypes, but I have it inherent in me a more natural tendency towards the rebel. Now the problem is you drift either one of these directions, and if you're fulfilling this in an empty manner, you're turning yourself into a caricature. You're turning yourself into a mindless robot. There's a phone. I'm running out of time anyways, but keep seeing these dichotomies play out. You versus Ian, it's occurring. Boy, trying to shuffle that between Benny and the Burbs and Jeffrey Squirrel. It's tough. Can't shuffle that. Can't shuffle that. And see, my tendency is to see both sides, and this is what I recommend. Contemplate both. Give both a chance for validation in your head, and seek the balance. Because if we become all of us, bam, extremely opposed, half of us turning, positively charged, the other half negatively charged, maybe a bad metaphor, but if we become a big polar, it causes such hatred and fear and. Sorry this was so long. Wasn't intending it, but I barely even got to my point.